Like even when I just you see with the when I do the one where I'm just singing a tune and I'm literally listening to my music at that time, yeah. And if a tune comes on, I say, "Nah, man, I'm gonna share this with people," and that is me in the moment doing that as it's happening. What's happening here?
We're getting a food in. We haven't even done like a you know the ones like we normally do an
Bomber
intro.
Clark, what a delivery, bro.
Yeah, through the window.
Bomber Clark.
Yeah, bro.
We have just got the food in.
Stop it.
Through the window. There's no rules. This channel, the Poet and Vuj channel.
This is the kind of thing that happened in Jamaica. I'm in Jamaica. That's that's a Jamaican move. That's something that would happen.
And it's Jamaican food as well. So we've got everything patterned.
You know, you got any Guinness punch in there?
I was gonna order it.
And you said, you were.
I said, no, forget it.
Why?
Zed.
It's one of those. It's a condiment that, you know, in respects of like a drink.
What is in Guinness punch? Is it actually Guinness?
Guinness.
Is it Guinness in there?
Condensed milk.
Oh, right.
Nutmeg.
It's no nice.
Egg. Yeah, man.
Condensed.
You actually got your ginger beer. I can't believe.
Yeah, come on.
The restaurant actually. Anyway, everyone, get your own food.
What was that?
Callum, get your own food. I'll get full.
Obviously, ordering from the Caribbean spot, they always have nothing. Something is missing.
Always.
They had jerk chicken missing. And Poet, I was like, bro, how can they have jerk chicken missing?
You can't have a shop and
right.
You know what I loved what was I used to watch? I think it was Robbie G and them lot. They had a show that used to be on, a black show. The McCoys, I can't remember. Remember it was Real McCoy maybe.
Yeah.
And they used to have the Vex like
The
woman in the West
Caribbean
Indian shop.
yeah.
Man. There's one in every. There's a Vex black woman in every West Indian shop, bro.
Every single one.
You know, when you're ordering, you know what I mean? Her face is like, what do you want? I love that Vex woman, man.
I don't understand why
they make it part of the experience, to be fair. I feel like you need that to be like.
You don't need that.
You don't need it, but
no one needs that, man.
but it adds to the experience.
You don't need that, man.
Because you hear so much about it. It's like if you go there and she's feel like you're like, this is not what I.
This isn't what I ordered.
This ain't how it's meant to work.
It's like Nando's when they ask you, have you been to Nando's before? It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You need them to ask you that
order,
question.
Man? I didn't even know I was getting food, man.
I asked yesterday, and then Roscoe informed me that you're trying to be healthy, so we got you rice and fish.
Did you get fish? Yeah,
steamed fish as well.
Aki. You didn't get no aki and saltfish.
See, so mad
Shout
again.
out to my
Saki and
Akis.
saltfish. I didn't know again. That's why I asked.
That's the Jamaican national dish, bro.
Of course, but I didn't know what you want. I wanted to be specific. I really tried.
Shout out
man,
to
it's
my.
alright. I'm not fighting down a man.
Here you go, Callum.
Should we do
what was he saying? How's that gonna work? So all that is that? I was answering. I forgot.
We don't
man.
have to. We can just start like.
Because again,
There's no rules.
There's no rules.
No rules, man.
Which is nice.
I can see that, man. I want the delivery to stay.
Yes.
The delivery has to stay in.
I think that is lit. The delivery.
So the food has come in,
Has
but
to.
do we do like a proper intro now?
Yes,
Like, yo, welcome to the Poet and Vuj podcast.
Yes.
I think a lot of people have been asking for this over the years.
Seriously?
Yeah, bruv, and Poet's obviously been doing half-cast for a long time, and
Yeah.
loads of other podcasts. I've appeared a few times, and we've always wanted to do one. And now finally, we obviously got our own channel now,
Love it.
and there's no rules, so you're gonna have some food. We've got Ian Wright on, talk football, life,
Love that.
and just keep it going, and have a nice, hopefully.
Always nice.
By the
I
end
love
of
the
it.
nice. I had my red one on the other day.
That was beautiful. When you wore my Have a Nice jumper, I was very happy.
I love watching your stuff, man.
Thank you.
Some passionate fans, man.
Yeah, Serbian fans.
Whoa.
Red Star, I was there, Copenhagen.
Yeah, I was watching
Hopefully
that.
taking this guy next week.
Yes.
I'm hoping. Yeah, very passionate fans.
You know what I want to do at some stage, but it's one of those
We
things.
should take Ian one day.
No, man, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to do those, since I've done the Soweto derby, man.
Yeah, you want
South
to
Africa,
do more derby days.
People have to experience that, right?
Yeah.
And I want to do Boca Juniors and River Plate.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I go to a World Cup and Argentina playing, I always go.
Yeah.
I just love being in the energy and the passion offered them fans, bro. They welcome you in as long as you're supporting Argentina. They've got so many songs. The songs. Honestly, man. Yeah, I love the songs.
It's so
man.
melodic.
Someone taught me one of those songs.
Very melodic. Oh, Vuj, you knew a song? No, that was a Brazil one about Maradona.
Vamos, that's it. Vamos, Argentina. Vamos, something like that. Aquí este bando, quilombera. No te llega Alentar. Argentina. And you do it, when you do it and they do it, it's just like you feel something.
You feel
man.
it.
Bro.
Because
You
don't
feel
get
the
it with
soul.
England. Yeah, they sing the national anthem and we haven't got anything.
And they got the guys with the drum. You know, the guys.
What I'm saying is, it's like going to Soweto, watching the Argentinians, and they get together when they do it. It's just like, it's powerful, man.
For me, what I like about, and I learned this a lot from Vuj and then through traveling in work.
Fish thing.
That's Ian's.
that mine?
Yeah, I kind of learned that it's like I was watching football the wrong way for a long period of
What
time.
do you mean? How can you watch football the wrong? Oh man, that's nice.
In
How
a
can you watch
sense where it's
football
like,
the wrong way.
when I've gone and experienced, like for example, I went to the Marseille Paris Saint-Germain game, and you see when it's a day out for football, this is a serious thing. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, today's football. And I kind of like going to a country or a part of the world where that just happens to be the vibe, because then the whole approach throughout the whole day, everything you're doing is catering towards 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then it makes you even more excited for 3 p.m. In England, mate, I get up about 1:30, I have a bath, before you know it, I'm 5 minutes late for the game. It's like, there's no real process.
no pattern
of,
process
yeah.
to what you're
Maybe it's
doing.
because like here it's just become very commercialized, and there's so much money in the game, and maybe as a society we're a lot more, I don't know, health and safety, organised, you know, everything's got to be a proper way. I think in these other countries, like when I go to Serbia, people are smoking cigarettes in the ground. No one respects where someone's sitting. First come, first served.
Yeah, man.
I kind of
Like,
like,
just
that.
saying,
Yeah,
it's-
I kind of like that.
Yeah, but there seemed like, I think that happened. That was in Soweto. That
No
was
one-
it.
yeah.
People came, and you know what? It's really. I'm so proud of the fact that there's so many black people in one place, no violence, drinking from the time they get there to the time. Everybody, it's more they drink, the more dancing they were doing. No fighting, no nothing, and you think to yourself, this is just like, this is really such an experience to see. The people were so jovial. It was a proper experience. I can't stop telling people about it. I literally can't stop talking about it.
That's amazing that you've got to
No,
witness
because
that.
like
Yeah, trust
fans and the way fans are was important to me.
Yeah, of
It
course.
was, because like it was, my thing was fans, and I think it stems from my childhood, the love that I all of a sudden found from people and strangers because I was good at doing something in particular. The fans showed me unconditional love. When you scored, they wanted you to score, and then they want you to be their hero. Then you score, and then they love you even more. You run into the crowd, you hug them, you can feel it, and then you've not let them down. You've done something for them that they can't do themselves, but they need.
Do you know what's so mad? When you speak about it like that, all I know, my first memory of football is being an Ian Wright fan. Then my first memory of teams is being an Arsenal fan. So when I think about what you've just said now, I think to myself, one of my reasons for gravitating towards football was one, I wanted to have a better relationship with my dad. And two, I wanted to feel a part of something.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a rude boy, so I couldn't go and join the boys on the block. Like I wasn't particularly great at football as a young age, so I couldn't go and play and immerse myself in that way. But I had an interest in football and I enjoyed football. So for me, it was like, I want to be a part of something. I want to feel something. And then when you're there, it's almost like an extension to your family that you've got, or it kind of replaces a family that you didn't have.
Yeah, football is family for sure.
Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah, it can become family.
What was your reasoning for being so involved in fans? Because not every footballer's like that. Certain man just score, put their hand up and keep
you
it
still
moving.
have the passion, because you can hear in your voice that you still
Yeah.
have the passion and love for it.
You know what? It's got to stem from, and you know what I mean. I'm not trying to. How can I say it without sounding like I'm looking for?
There's no rules.
There's no rules. No love in the household from a child. No love from people who was in and around me. People would say to my mum, bring him and bring Nicky and Maury. Don't bring the little one. And I probably go, and then you end up breaking something at their house, or they don't want you at their house because they thought you was the rude one. And I grew up in a kind of a situation where nobody really, I didn't get a lot of love. The only time that love came towards me is when I started playing for Palace, started making good money. All of a sudden, I became patriarch of the family. Also, everybody loves me. So to not have no love, I remember saying to somebody, I can't remember when my mum ever hugged me. Can't remember it of anything, any kind of like, just out of the blue, like I do with my Lola or Roxanne or my daughter Bobby before. Just, you know, when your kids are, and you just want to hug them just because you know.
Yeah,
I just like I'll call Roxanne, Lola, Roxanne, come here. and they'll come from all the way upstairs, all the way downstairs. I say, come, hug me. And then they go, ugh, and then they hug them. But the fact is, I remember saying something, I do not remember being hugged and loved until started to meet my teacher, which everybody saw.
Yeah,
started
that was mad.
Started to get some kind of like love from a man who's got nothing to do with me. But I believe, to answer the question, sorry for this long-winded answer.
No, cool, man.
Is that because I didn't get a lot of love and adulation when I was younger. So all of a sudden, to become good at what you're doing to the point where you're playing football for a living and getting paid, then you play for Arsenal, and fans love you for the way you play and the way you express yourself, and just because you do a bit of skill or you score a nice goal, and they just love you and singing your name. You know, when you're on the bench, like at Palace, before I scored my first goal, they were singing my name to come on. I remember I scored when I came on against Oldham, scored against Andy Gorham.
Gorham.
Yeah, we was losing 2-1 when I went on. Kevin Taylor made it 2-2, and I scored the third one. And I remember running up the half weight stand bit where that Palace where you see, and tears was coming out of my eyes because they were singing for me. I came on and scored, and then you know what I mean. That was where this affinity started. I just love the fans. It's all about the fans. David Rocastle.
Rocky.
When I started at Palace, remember I was like, David was, by then he started to fly in the first division, him and Arsenal. He was doing unbelievable things. And I remember going out with him when we'd go out in Nunhead. We went to them places like them little dances where we used to go. And I was at Palace, so no one knew me. People were all over him, bro. Talking about like, and it wasn't like at the time photograph stuff, it was autographs, man. It was just wanting to show love, and he had time for everyone. And even once I saw him when he was Arsenal, I'd watch him and the fans, he'd have time for everyone. He says they're the only thing that's sacred, properly sacred in the game. Never let you down, the fans, as long as you don't let them down.
Yeah,
that's what he always said. Fans are everything. And so for me, the fans giving me the love I got from the fans is why I suppose that they can see what I'm about. And even now when I'm talking on the television, they see, you know, like I remember one time I was on with England, we lost to Ireland, and like, you know, people went crazy because I said something like, I don't know what to say, I don't want to say anything anymore. We're losing to Ireland, man. You know what I mean? I said it on the telly, I said, you know what, so Ian, what you got? And I said, what can I say? I ain't got nothing to say, man. And people say, hey, what do you mean you haven't got nothing to say? You're being paid to be a pundit, this and that. And people were going mad, saying it's so, how can you be on there? It's wrong and this and that. But the people upstairs, they said, well, that's what you felt. You know what I mean? I'm representing the fans on there. That's what people say now. That's what they say at ITV. So Ian, you're the Mark Puga. Say, Ian, you're the barometer for what the fans are thinking. What are you thinking at the moment?
That's mental, isn't it?
So you went from like, why are you saying that, to like, no, actually, you're the voice.
They're saying, so Ian, you're the barometer, because like, like with the when I done the one where we won the penalty shootout against Colombia. You know when you watch people and they say, I couldn't watch. It's the only time in a football match that you know when people say I can't watch. Yeah, I literally couldn't watch.
Oh mate, to be honest with you,
I couldn't watch.
Everyone knows I'm not even the biggest advocate for being an England fan. It's not really in me, but I couldn't deny what
and you know the thing about it is,
I couldn't watch it. It was so emotional. It
was really weird because I was very conflicted. Because it was Ospina and goal. And if we're going to really roll it back, it wasn't a great penalty from Eric Dyer. A good goalkeeper saves that penalty. Ospina's not the tallest goalkeeper. It kind of went under his arm. So I was kind of like thinking to myself, oh my God, it's Eric Dyer. Oh, it's Ospina. Surely he's got to score against Ospina. You know, I mean, I'm dissing my own player, man, just for England to win. But then what happened is that as it was happening, the build up to it, I kind of had an adrenaline buzz where I was emotional because I didn't know how I was going to react to England losing another penalty shootout. Yeah. And then I've got to go on the television. And I get a lot of people from the black community, especially early doors, and like saying that I'm a sellout and this and that because of England. Like, all I ever wanted to do when I was younger was play for England. Yeah. All I ever wanted to do was play for England. And I think because I missed out on all the tournaments through form and through the fact that managers didn't take me, I always see the tournaments as me still playing in it.
That is mad. Euro 96, I was gutted.
That was my tournament, man. That was the one where they had the golden goal and everything. The golden goal, man. I'm destined for it. They took Robbie Fowler. They took Les Ferdinand. None of them had any kind of previous of scoring in, an FA Cup final off the bench. Or my first goal for England was off the bench. So I'm there thinking this season, it was the Rioch season.
It's just the reason why though.
It was the Rioch season.
No Arsenal fan like Rioch, so we know why.
I was in a real weird place all season. Still ended up with 23 goals, but
my brother, quickly, man.
But the thing about it is that I was playing that season to get into that squad. So everything I wanted to do, I didn't want to diss him. I didn't want to do anything because I didn't want to jeopardize anything to get me into the squad. And Terry Venables didn't bring me, didn't take me, and I'm thinking to myself, that's the one. I'm going to score the goal.
What do you reckon? Why was it they didn't want to bring you in? Was it politics?
He left me out the very last game. Might have been Mexico. I think I set up Robbie Fowler's first goal at Wembley against Mexico. And he said, listen, I know what you could do. I know what you're capable of and this and that. And I never heard from him again until after it. And then when I saw us needing the golden goal to win like the semi-finals and I weren't there, I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, that's meant for me, bro. I can never let that one lie. That was meant for me to be there. When you look how close Gazza's foot was
to getting it in.
Oh
my Lord.
That was my moment. I can't get over the fact that was my moment. Gareth Southgate's penalty should have been my penalty. I look at things like that because Gareth Southgate had to step up and take that penalty, like the 6-1. I would have probably been one of the penalty takers. So those are the things that I think about when I think about Euro 96. It's a hard one to take because when you look at how great the team was, you know what I mean? And then it's about the backup team, man. It's about the backup team. It's about like people like myself who can. Could you imagine if I was coming off the bench at Wembley, 96 with like 10, 15 minutes to go? Fans are going to be happy with that, aren't they?
Energy as well, yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Did you score more goals than Fowler and who else?
That season, but remember it was a season like I say with Rioch where it was in and out. Me and the man was constantly bickering and fighting, and you know what I mean. It was a hard one.
But I kind of understand where you're coming from because obviously within football there's certain players that you have to pick for particular scenarios. So for example, I remember at one point Chelsea were very reliant on Torre Andrew Flo coming off the bench because he was a completely different dynamic to Zola. Whoever they wanted to play off the bench. So he'd come off the bench, a bit like Origi today. You know, if you bring off Origi, there's just some. Do you know what I mean? So you might bring Origi in the squad just because.
But it wouldn't have bothered me so much, Paul.
Yeah.
If he used Fowler or Ferdinand, because they're top players.
They're top players, but I mean, like, under them circumstances, we see where we used to see in Newcastle start Les Ferdinand, we used to see in Liverpool start Robbie Fowler.
Yeah.
We've seen the fact that you can come off the bench and do things the same way we saw it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
It was just like, why are you not giving that opportunity at that time? Because you're kind of correct for that scenario. Do you know what I mean?
Really cool. It was really cool because it's really weird how universe works and how, God, if you believe in that, how it works. Because I remember I had to do some stuff in Qatar with Venables. And me and Terry Venables ended up next to each other. But remember, he's somebody that I know anyway. Man told me how it was something that it plagued him.
Serious?
Yeah, in the end, because he knows. Terry Venables would have probably, if I believe I would have scored a golden goal. It's in me. I just think that. Terry Venables knows now when we're sitting there, we're 6-hour flight from Dubai. We're talking about it, and he said, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was one of those." I said, "I can't believe you didn't take me." I told him all that about the thing. He said, "Well, you'd make the decision." I've thought about that many times. I know it's one of those mistakes that you make, but you make a decision at the time, and you hope that it's the right decision. You know what I mean? He said in the end, he didn't use them, but he thought that for what he was planning to do, they were the right guys to have. You know what I mean? You look at it, you think of 96. People don't think of Robbie Fowler and Les Ferdinand. I know that if I was involved, I would have had an impact. I would have had to.
Yeah, especially, no disrespect to Les, but if you're looking at the type of player you'd prefer, perhaps Ian Wright.
But maybe we have to check with Les there. I think Les might have scored a few goals that season. If we check it, if it was Newcastle.
No, but Les and Fowler,
they were flying.
Listen, Fowler,
they're both great strikers.
I know they're just great strikers, like incredible. Robbie Fowler, especially for me, is just a different type of striker. I know Arsene Wenger loved him, innit?
Different level finisher.
Some of his goals at Old Trafford as a young boy coming up and dinking the keeper. He literally had no respect, but it's the circumstances to me that were very unique. Yeah. It's an international stage. You're talking about coming off the bench in Wembley, something that Ian Wright's done before. It just seems like the right thing to do. But then in the same breath, you can say the France 98 World Cup, Michael Owen doesn't seem like the player that comes off the bench and scores against Romania or starts the game against Argentina and scores an incredible goal. But Glenn Hoddle takes a chance in the young boy.
And then he does it.
Do you know where I'm coming from? So it's just...
but this is why, for me, I'm not bitter anymore about stuff.
Okay. You seem very passionate though, still. You seem quite...
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know what you do? Because I came in so late, It's all catching up. Everything was about catching up. So then what happens is that you're building towards these big, because I wanted to be on the world stage. All I was doing all the time I was training was to get on the stage with the best, so you can put yourself up with the best, you know. And so when you do that, and then through whatever reason, whether it's the season, the Rio season, and it was just one of those in and out seasons. I think in the end we just qualified for Europe or something. Dennis scored a great goal at the death, and that. But like all this time I'm training, from the time I got into football, is to play at the highest level, to be the best, right? So when you do all you can and it doesn't happen, it's very hard to ask questions of other people and what happens. But
frustrating.
When it's difficult to take, so you have it takes a while to be able to deal with that, man. I'm 55 now, man, and it's still something that you talk about. Euro '96, people talk about the miss, people talk about Gareth. Could have been so different, man. Could have been so different, because it's meant to be. My mum said it as well. She was one of those. My mum used to be one of the women that, when she have argument with people, she put a cross on the wall, all them voodoo. My mum used to do them things. She used to say, put voodoo on
Oh my!
I can already see Daily Mirror. Ian Wright,
you know what I mean?
No, my mum was like, listen, it's Jamaican families though.
That's what they do, man. Crosses.
I can't lie. You know what? I'm from a maybe similar background.
Yeah, of course.
Where them kind of things.
Crosses, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the energy.
I'm not on it, fam.
You don't want to mess with the energies.
Listen, I'm not. My mum used to tell me, wet the bread before you throw it in the bin. I never understood it, but the energy she gave me that request with,
it sounded right.
To this day, I still wet the bread before I throw it in the bin.
What's that
Wet the
about?
bread, put
You
it in
think I
the
got time
bin.
to ask questions? My mum saying to me, do as I say, not as I do. I ain't got time to ask her questions, and she's angry. Are you gone mad? I should ask her now though, because I'm a little bit older, innit?
Yeah, man, gotta
Wet
ask
the
her.
bread.
It's like my mum. You know, no rules, innit?
No
No
rules.
rules.
It's like my mum used to tell me about when with the women, and like because I don't know what happened with the because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that, because I came into the game how I did. There's a lot of black people in and around who think that my mum's got some kind of juju business going.
Oh yeah, because you just come to the back like a late thing.
You know what I mean?
Hackney Marsh is 1 week,
You know what I
Wembley the
mean?
next.
Wembley, and then what's it called? Even Steve Coppell was saying he's always waiting for something to happen at the training, or someone to come and take me away or something, because he couldn't believe that some, like what I was doing, how I was playing, and no one found me and no one took me at that time.
Crazy.
Steve Coppell was thinking there must be something wrong. What's going on? How can this guy just appear like
Go
this?
under the radar.
You know what I mean? And I remember my mum used to tell me about the girls. Be careful with them girls, because she heard that there's some of them mums are burying, like they're soaking.
I'm so scared to hear what's gonna happen next.
My mum used to say, "Don't eat rice from them," because they would take their knickers and boil their knickers in the rice. So when you eat the rice, you're tied up with the girl forever.
I'll tell you what, a couple of my mates might actually be under that problem right now.
Oi, my mum used to say, "Do not eat rice from them. Don't eat rice from them."
Do you know how much of that I wasn't expecting
Mad.
that?
Yeah, that is
Oi,
mad.
Don't even
eat-
joke,
But
man.
that's Jamaicans though.
That's what I'm saying, man. Don't eat rice from them.
Listen, just
That's funny.
don't eat rice because they might put the
Knickers
and
in
if I-
the
Put the
rice.
knickers of the daughter in there and boil,
So they stay
boil
with
the
you.
rice. So they
Stay with you forever.
look at me. I'm eating rice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
mate.
funny.
I swear.
Oh my lord.
This
I
is
don't know
a-
how we digress to that, man. But like,
I love
hey,
this podcast already. I'm loving it. I don't
love-
think
yeah,
anybody's got these stories out of
This
you
is
yet.
mad unique though.
Magic.
But that's what I'm saying. It was really weird. My transformation from trying to get into football from the age of 10, you don't get until 22. So then when I get into, so, of course I digress again, but when I got in at 20, all I was thinking about was trying to be the best I could be, play at the very highest I could. That's all it came down to.
22 years old is when you turn pro. That's your first professional contract.
3 months they signed me for. I remember that when I was playing Sunday morning football, I was scoring 3 and 4 goals a game. I was scoring goals in the finals, the end of the season and stuff like that. I remember I used to score so many goals that in the game after I scored 3 goals or 4 goals, I'd try and score a goal by or I'd just try and hit the post with the shot. I'd try and hit the crossbar. You know, so that's when I tried chips and try any kind of thing. That's why I tried anything.
Yeah.
And all it done was it just got me ready for finishing in certain
Because your
situations.
finishing was exquisite. So do you reckon that kind of period of you playing like that definitely impacted your game? And do you reckon if you had gotten in, if you had, let's say, a more traditional route, do you think your journey would have been as exciting?
It can't be that exciting.
No.
I lived life before. Prison at 19 for car offences and stuff like that. You know, I remember when we lived on the estate, my brother was a kind of good footballer, and we used to have to go up the stairs of the estate. And my brother was able to get a tennis ball and go up to the second floor without touching it with his hands, flicking it up onto that step, and then reacting to if it goes that way so as you could stop it. And I used to try and do stuff like that. So you try to get the ball up the stairs all the way up to where we live. My brother could do it. It could take hours to do. But those are the kind of things I didn't know that inadvertently was teaching me how to
touch.
Yeah, because even when all the guys, when I was younger, when them guys all got bikes, we got into no rules, bro.
No rules. Someone's ringing on the door.
Callum, do you want to go? Oh, sorry. I got baby wipes in somewhere.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
No,
But it's crazy how, like, in life, right? I feel like maybe as I've grown up and matured a lot in my life, I'd say those moments which you might view as negative, or they're the ones that you're thinking, I haven't got a pitch to play on, but I'm hitting it against the wall.
But this is what I'm saying.
And that's the thing that
what's this for?
Builds you.
Roscoe says you need tissue for your
What
mouth.
for? What the thing is that what I found with those things is that it helped my reactions. I weren't doing it up the stairs for that reason.
Yeah.
I was doing it up the stairs because all them guys in and around my 12 and 13, those kind of years, they had bikes. We couldn't afford a bike. So when them man went and rode all over London because they had their bikes, I had to play football. So in the block, I would be on my own. So you have to make games up. So I'd try and bend the ball. So you had the poles where you have to hang the washing up in the block of flats.
Yeah.
So I'd make sure I'd bend the ball to try and hit that pole in the middle there. So you do it with your right foot, then you try and do it with your left foot, then you do it with the outside of your right foot, you do it with the outside of your left foot. So then all you're doing is honing your striking ability. You don't think that you're doing it at the time, because what I'm doing is just trying to find another way to relieve the boredom. And so that's what you try to do. So I was trying with the football, I'd try and do that. And then in the end, you know, you get to a certain level. Like once I got to Palace, kind of had all my, the football and education, what I had in respects of learning skills and doing the stuff was already in there. I just didn't have the professional know-how of, you know, where you do it on the pitch and where you don't do it on the pitch.
So it's almost like you had it, but you just didn't know how to package it.
Didn't know how to package it. It's like I can't remember from the age of like 9 to 13. I can't remember passing to anyone else. You know, you're talking to kids now. They're playing in games where they ate these organised games and he's playing on this side. I've never done that. Just played football, man. I don't even remember passing because it was a time where we used to play a game where the game was it's your turn with the ball. See how many times you can beat as many people as you can. That was the game.
That's what makes you, I'd say, one of the most unique characters in football and a story that we all look up to. Like my background, Poet's background, you're one of those characters that people want to see do well. We want to see you speak your mind. We're we're happy to have you here, and you know that connects with our stories, and it's just fucking amazing, isn't it? To hear that, because I remember that we used to go to the park and it would just be
honestly, Vuj, you can never get over the fact when people say I was in the park and I would say I'm right. You know what I mean? I'm Ian Wright, Ian Wright.
Yeah.
That is very, very hard to process, to know that somebody's doing that bit, saying they're being you.
We used to do that. That's what everyone done. Man used to argue. Man would argue. Like, I'm Ian Wright. No, I'm Ian Wright. There's like 5 Ian Wrights now. One's Bengali, one's white, one's Australian.
I'm Ian Wright.
There's no rules.
Don't lie.
There's no rules.
But that element of like also like just using what you have around you to make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
Because I never used to have many friends like growing up, moving around in London a lot. You'd kind of move in circles a lot. I used to just have a ball and kick it against the wall. And that was it. That was my fun. And for like an hour, I would just be kicking the ball, trying to curl it, trying to see if I can, skid it. And obviously, I didn't grow up to be a footballer.
Go away.
But it ended up being YouTube. But what I'm saying is, regardless, it's about using what you have.
Using what you've got. And the thing about it is, Vuj, is that then I look back now and I think to myself, so if I wasn't doing that for all those hours, what I had to do it for, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you start to think, well, where I grew up wasn't so bad, because there's times where you think, oh, it's a fucking hate round here. It's fucking
yeah.
But then now I look at how that and the situation I found myself in and the way I used what was around me to do it. That's how it works, man. That's how the universe works. It gives you what you need.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
funny.
for you to utilize that.
Absolutely, it's up to you to utilize.
It is funny what Vuj is saying.
Crazy.
You might have been the first YouTuber from football without YouTube. Like, just from your character alone. Like, you just done... Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I reckon every footballer, from the Jesse Lingards of today, they've all got a bit of Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They've all looked up to somebody like you. You was a massive character in football, and it made you translate outside of football. But that purely must have been due to, like you said, the way you grew up. And you've spoken about a couple of things like going to prison at 19. And if you're coming pro at 22, what was your social group like? Because I can tell you, before I done YouTube, I was doing YouTube, before it became a situation where it's like I'm getting paid for it, they kind of say to you, so what's your other job? So what was it like being Ian Wright, 20, 21 years old? What was the social group? You've just come out of prison 2 years later and you're saying, I want to be a footballer. What is that part of your life like?
It was hard because I was in between, because, you know, how can I put it? I knew, like, Sean and Bradley. So let's say the year before. So let's say the year starts now, and then by the end of the year, like I'm 21, I'll get into Palace. That year, I realised that the people I'm moving with, they're smoking a lot of weed, they're drinking a lot of drink. It's all about girls. Some of them have got 3 kids already and stuff like that. I've got Sean, I've got my missus at the time, Sharon. She's pregnant with Bradley. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do this no more, man. And what used to happen in the dances, what I used to go to, people, like the older guys would be pulling me saying, what are you doing in there, man? Wasting your talent. What you watch when you get older, you're going to regret what you're not trying hard enough to be. I couldn't do anymore. I had to stop going to dances and going out to those little shubbing places and parties, because the older guys who were good footballers themselves at the time, they had no chance. And they saw it that I had some form of chance. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I've done the trials. I've written to all of them. I've not got anything back. I've failed at the trials. I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? But then you'd go and these men would talk to you for, just stand there in the dance, just talking to you. And you're like, you can't move. Because you can't move from these men, because they say, well, they're talking to you, they're telling you. And they were right. But the fact is, I didn't know how to go about it. I was just playing Sunday morning football. You know, so that's what my life was like at the time. So I stopped going to the dance, and I needed to work. I needed to work because now it's got Sean, who's just like 3, coming up to like 3 and whatever it was. And then Bradley's, like I say, he's just about to be born, because Bradley was really young. He was months or something when I was at Palace, when I signed at Palace. It's funny because it's like once Bradley's, all my luck changed. Bradley brought the luck with me. And I remember telling people I had to go for the trial for Palace, and it was one of those situations. Roscoe, I think it was, what was it, the Father's Day? The Father's Day, I had to tell people, and I didn't have no one to speak to about, you know what I mean, how nervous I was going for this Crystal Palace trial and how it was. And I remember I had a bath in the morning, and Bradley, he was really small, 8-9 months or something. He's walking in the bathroom while I was having the bath, and I remember he was eating the bubbles in the bath, and I had to stop him. But I just started talking to him about what's happening now, where I'm going, what I'm going to be doing. This is the trial for Crystal Palace. This might be it. I don't know if it's going to happen, you know, but hopefully, you know what I mean. I'm just going to go and I'm not talking to Bradley like I'm talking to you guys now. I'm just going to go and just do what I do. I went to all these trials, and you know what I mean? I tried to play how people wanted me to play, hold the ball up. I'm not good at it. I'm good at taking people on. I'm talking to Bradley. You know what I mean? The little baby walking about, holding on to the bath and doing his stuff. And it was almost like that chat. Once I went to Palace, I just went and just played, man. It's just like, that's lit. Just went and played simply because I genuinely thought that they were gonna let me go. I turned them down 3 times because I got the job at Tunnel Refineries. Like I was saying, like you're saying, what was I doing? I had to move away from people because they were going somewhere where I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to go down the, yes, you know what I mean, then I'm going to have another girlfriend, and then, you know what I mean, I might, yeah, and then I'm going to, you know what I mean, I'm going to go to another dance, and I'm going to sign on and all this stuff, you know what I mean? I weren't going nowhere. I was in a quandary. I was going nowhere. It was just like, it was depressing. And then my mate Dean, who lived across he went out with my Mrs. Sharon's sister, Selma, and he got the job at Tunnel Refinery, and then he said, listen, they're looking for more people. And I went there, met the guy, Gary Twidell, got the job, and then that was it. I was in the job for 6 weeks, and then Palace came with the trial, offered me 3 times, turned them down 3 times. And it was only luck. I met the boss one time after I turned him down the second time. Met the boss in the canteen. And he was talking to me, and I told him about Palace, told him about all the stuff, everything about how many trials I've had, I'm not good enough in this. And they said, well, you might as well. They've tried 3 times now. They must see something. But at the time I was scoring in semi-finals and finals. And so I said, yeah, I'll go. And that is when he said, yeah, I can go. So that was the Thursday. And it was the Monday I had to go to Palace. And it was the Monday morning, and I had that bath, is when Bradley gave me the chat. Bradley gave me the chat, and then I went there, and then bam, it just happened, man, because I didn't care. And when trialists used to come, whether it was Palace or Arsenal or wherever I saw them, I would just always used to pull them. I would just say, play your game. You know what I mean? If they're going to take you, they're going to take you on what they think you can do. Make sure you show them what you can do. Doesn't take much. Don't need an hour to watch. You can do it in a flash.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, like I saw Pepe at Newcastle. Got the ball on the right, flashed the shoulder and done something, and I said, that's our player, man.
That's what I was... My brother, you feel me? I saw
one thing I saw at Newcastle,
on.
I said, that's our guy. He's our guy. And so when I'd say to the trialist, and that's the same thing what Steve Coppell said to me, never change the way you play. You're going to have to play in the structure of teams. Be yourself in the way you play. Express yourself. Everybody should be doing that. This is why I've got such a problem with young kids playing football. You can't express yourself when you're 8 years old playing in the Chelsea or Arsenal kit, Tottenham kit, Man United kit. Too much pressure, family on the lines, all this sort of stuff. That's not people who are playing with freedom. You know, I was very fortunate that I got to play with freedom till I was 22. And then, all of a sudden, I had to learn on the job. And that was hard because I was with some hardcore guys like Jim Cannon and Mickey Joy that, you know, when you lose the ball, when you're up front, them old man, you know what I mean, they're getting pressured. Then all of a sudden, you get into the dressing room and they're holding you up in the dressing room. Yeah, man, saying to you, if you lose the fucking ball again, you're going to fucking knock you out. Because they're thinking I'm trying to do skills. Try to do skills and try to do stuff. And then they're, you know what I mean? Remember, I'm scared of these, man. I remember the first time I saw Mickey Joy. I remember this is professional footballers. This is like the holy grail to me, you know, being in a professional environment. Footballers. I remember Mickey Joy was smoking a cigarette on the toilet when I walked past, and I walked past like this because the door was open. Because obviously, the door was open. Man's on the toilet with a cigarette, and I'm looking at him, and he's a professional footballer. And I was walked past. I couldn't believe it. Didn't comprehend it. It was like when I was younger. I saw when it was wet day. I went in to go toilet, and the teacher was eating an apple, and I was like, I must have been about 6 or something. I couldn't believe the teacher was eating. It was the same. It was the same vibe I had when I saw. The same vibe when I saw Mickey Joy, professional footballer, smoking a cigarette. I was like, my God, professional. It's professional. Jesus, it was hard because like it's only when Mark Bright came as well. He's got to get a lot of credit. I realised that I'm gone from what's it called? So normal bloke in the street who is working in tunnel refineries as a maintenance man trying to fix up brickwork here, plastering, and then all of a sudden from that day to, you know, you score your first goal against Oldham or whatever it is, and then you've got to do interviews. No one told me how to do those things. No one told me what to do, what to say. If I watch the interview of myself now, even watching myself when I watch myself, I can't even watch myself doing interviews when I was after the games. Until I got to a certain stage, I used to take the piss in them.
Oh, you were so funny.
You know what I mean? Just take the piss in them.
So funny. Great television.
I used to love watching Gaza do his interviews.
Oh, Gaza was great television for interviews.
That was with tunnel refineries.
Yes.
What other kind of jobs did you have to do in your...
So I left school at 13. I used to leave. Yeah.
13? You know the ones that you hear like 16, 15, 13, I walked out.
I left it like because you know through that year, that's when you're meant to do the mock exam.
Yeah.
So that's a whole year of like homework and revision.
You said no, I'm out.
Never done none of it. So never done none of it. So the exams are coming. So I'm here now, 13. The exams are coming. They're 2 weeks time, and I started seeing this girl, Andrea.
At 13.
No, but it's just messing around.
Yeah. Oh, you're
you were ahead of your time.
Yeah, I've seen her, but like it was just like she was one of them. I went to go to their house and it was cool. You know, nothing was happening really.
Yeah.
And like so I thought, and then the guy gave me a job. The guy next door, Deli, his name was Deli, and he worked with Mr. Burke. Deli was the bricklayer. Mr.
You're
Burke
good
was
with names, you know. You
no,
remember
don't forget them. No, I can't forget them things, man.
Those are the legends.
Seminal moments in your life. Yeah. And I remember he said, "Listen, I'm gonna give you £50 a week." 13, just turned 14. I was. £50 a week, You know what I mean? Just to, you know what I mean, come and do the labouring and do the stuff, and then I'll try and teach you what's going on. And so I went and I done that. So I'd leave the house because obviously I didn't tell my mum I weren't going school. So I'd leave the house in my uniform and go to the place and put on the work clothes, go back home in the uniform, and then in the end,
That's lit though.
after a couple of weeks,
At home alone.
I told her. After a couple of weeks, I told her, but then she was fine because I just go and just give her the money, didn't I?
She's lit.
Yeah, she just gave her the money. So that's how that happened. So that's how it started for me. Stopped working. Then all of a sudden, I went from this building site, that one, working with this guy, working with him for a few years. And then in the end, like when I got to like 17, 18, and then I stopped working with him. And that is where I went through a phase where I weren't doing anything. You know what I mean? That was the time where, you know, I started to, like I was seeing this girl and she bought me a car for £60. She bought me a white Vauxhall Viva I got.
The car was £60.
This is
man,
just not registering.
Yeah, man.
First of all, a girl bought you a car.
Yeah, man.
Second one was £60.
These are bloody £130.
Yeah.
They ain't getting me nowhere
There's
fast.
the old guy in the block of flats. He had an old. He bought it. He probably bought it because he had to come back for showing it. And I bought it off him. But I was 17 at the time, so I bought that car and I was going out with her and it's kind of like, you know what I mean. She kind of lent me some money. Like I gave her the money back.
I'm a good guy.
But like the thing is, and then I bought a Fiat 125 with brown at the top, beige at the bottom, Wolf Race wheels, no bumpers. Car was at a police. It was like I might as well have had a siren on me. I might as well have been driving with a siren. The car was so in your face and illegal. And so, you know what I mean, I kept getting stopped in that. I got stopped in that one before. And then this is how I ended up going into prison, is because I accumulated fines over 2, 3, 4 years. And the thing is, once I got a job, a decent job, and I said, you know what, let me go and see if I could pay them some money. I wanted to go and pay some money towards the fines. It must have been at the time, it would have been £3,000 maybe by the time I owed the amount of fines, because I wasn't
Quite
even.
a bit back then.
Yeah, man, I wasn't even turning up to court, man. Wasn't even turning up, so there was a warrant out for me and everything. So
This is a mad thing.
yeah, so then what happens is that I go to pay some money. They just arrested me, man. Went to court the next morning. Before I knew what was happening, I was in Chelmsford prison. I was in Chelmsford prison for like 24 days or something.
24 days, were you in a cell with someone? Were you
Yeah, I was
alone?
in a cell with someone. But the guy who I was in the cell with, Andrew, his name was, he was like...
You remember everyone's name.
No, you're never going to forget that, bro. You're not going to forget. I cried
That's
cried every night. Cried every night. I wanted, yeah, man. Because I'm not a thief. That's not where we're meant to be. My mum was... It nearly killed her, knowing that I was just in prison. Jesus. And so it was one of those where he went out every day because he had to do his stuff, but I was just in there. I didn't do anything. And then I was out before, you know, and then I remember I done that prison show where the football behind bars.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then I went back to the cell. They put me in the holding cell for when you leave the next day. And I remember when I was leaving, that was when I was leaving, like 19, I was just going towards 20. And that's when I said, I'm not doing anything off the tracks. Nothing. No one could make me do anything off the beaten track. I'm not doing nothing illegal. I'm not coming back here.
So did you reckon you needed that moment in a weird way to push you to that next level of discipline maybe?
Yeah, because I think that the journey is what the journey is. So whether I needed it or not, that came along at that time, because I know one thing what happened for sure, that arrested any kind of development I had in respects of anything else I might have been thinking, because at that time, when I came out, you come out, I don't know, I must have had about £19 they give you. I remember I got on the train, and on the train I said, I've got to fix up my business now. Whether that means college, night school, or whatever it is, I've got to do something like that. As time when I got a job, and then I got that job. So I got this job with this labourer who took me to a building site, and I've done some building site down in New Cross, and done that for about 16 months, 17 months. Then I stopped. And then I remember, because I was at my mum's at the time, I stopped doing it because, to be honest, it was hard. And then my mum said she's going to, if you're not, you've got to find a job. Or else you got to get out. And so I was in and around Sharon's and in and around my mum's. And then I went to work at Sainsbury's for a month.
No way.
Yeah, I went to the forest. It was Sainsbury's, but it was like, so I had the interview and...
So why does this advert with you and Sainsbury's never happen?
Sainsbury's,
they are massive bag to collect.
So let me tell you the story how Sainsbury's were. Maybe probably why it won't happen. But the fact is... is that I remember, so because you're going to the interview, and literally, the Sainsbury's couldn't be any fucking closer to my house, right? So we lived on Tameout Rise. You come down Tameout, turn left, and Sainsbury's is down there. And I said, you go for it. So that's the first place I went. I just came out, I just said, you going to Sainsbury's, man. So I went in there, and then I said, yeah, I'm looking for a job. And then they said, okay, come back. So it would have been a Tuesday or something. Come back on Thursday. So I went back on Thursday. I kind of put on some kind of decently clothes and that. Went in on Thursday, told me everything, this and that. They want to do this. I had to do papers and all that. There's about 4 or 5 of us doing it at the time. And then in the end, they came in and then they said, yep, we're going to take you on. You start on Monday. Then they start going through what's going to happen. What will happen if they catch you stealing? What's going to happen, this and that. And what's going to... So you're sitting there. And the bit what made me actually go kiss my teeth to myself was when they said, you won't get paid for the first month. You have to do a month work. And then you get paid the end of next month. So literally, when they said that, I was gone. They might as well have just said, you might as well leave.
Oh, no.
Man, so I started working anyway, and then I just started, what's it called, man? I was like Robin Hood, bro. I was giving people rice, flour, peas. You know what I mean? You know what? And the thing is, you know why I started doing it?
You're right.
You know what?
Man of the people.
You know why I started doing it? I'd see people, like there'd be a bag of flour, and I know what flour means to us and that, and rice. So they'd have a little slit in it. You see, man, and just throw it away.
Mad, innit? Yeah.
Just throw it away. You know what I mean? Like they'll have like steak. Like they might have a little perforation because someone pick it up and something just perforated the side here or something, and they'd want to throw it away. So I just started to collect all that stuff, man. So by the time the month finished, man, I just left Sainsbury's. I never even got paid, man. But people nyam food.
Sainsbury's owe you a check.
Yeah, man, they owe you a check.
The thing is, though, people got food, bro. People got flour. People got rice.
It's so funny. You know, this reminds me of a little bit. Because I used to work at Selfridges and Diesel retail. And during, you remember like during the riots, there was that guy with the rice, that big bag of rice.
Amazing.
At the end of the day, like rice, you'd use it. Your family's going to use it.
Yeah, man.
But
There was a close-up.
Yeah, but when I kind of got fired from Selfridges because I was tweeting. So I was getting in trouble on Twitter back them days, so 2011 days. Yeah. Because I was working in Selfridges. And I said, like, I was joking, kind of not joking as well. And I was like, why doesn't anybody just rob Selfridges? I was like, why are we in ends when you could just go Selfridges? And then I said, and I was like, hint, Louis V's right at the exit. Bro, when I got pulled up, they made me work 4 hours the next day. And I was like, I just jolly myself, the music's playing, we're having a little dance on the shop floor. I tried to tap back in. They were like, no, come here. I want the security to stop me and my card wasn't working. I went to the back, showed me my tweets. They were like, is this you? And it's like my photo, my name, Vuj. I was like, yeah, man. And then I was like, nah, I was just bantering it. Like, I didn't mean it. Obviously, you kind of jokingly. Yeah, of course. It's comedy, so you kind of do mean it. There's a truth to it because you'd rather not your local areas are getting beaten up, but somewhere where
do it to a man who they're going to be okay with it.
But obviously, like since then, I have toned down a bit. But I feel you because you kind of you don't want your local people to suffer. You don't want anyone to suffer.
But the thing about it is that at the time, even with the Sainsbury's, as much as at the end, I knew that weren't for me, man. I ain't working at Sainsbury's. You know what I mean? I just done it because I gave my mum. Yeah. I kind of cooled my mum down a bit. But the fact is, when I saw the amount of wastage, couldn't deal with it. Yeah. It was very difficult to deal with. Because growing up ourselves, we just had the bare minimum of what we needed. You know what I mean? We just had the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Of course my mum got the flour and all that stuff. When you see stuff like that being wasted, I just thought, nah, man. And the way people treated like stuff that hardly anything wrong with it. You should see how people throw food around at the back and all them things. Of course, there's times like, with like biscuit and mini, I'll open a packet and just nyam one and just go about my business and you know what I mean? Just open the biscuit and just like eat the stuff and just,
you were going through Sainsbury's having biscuits and then you just
mini rolls.
And mini rolls. Just mini rolls. Mini rolls is the ones where I just can't stop. Mini rolls are the ones that I can't. What's it called? I can't. What's it called with mini rolls? I can't stop with mini rolls. That's the one I'll probably eat for the rest of it. Even though whatever the fitness is, they say you can have one. It'd be the Cadbury's mini rolls, but the strawberry jam one, the one with strawberry jam and cream. because I like doing it with my girls. Like now, what my girls like to see is how many I could put in my mouth at once. And get you like that.
Yeah, I've had chocolate ones though, man.
But it is chocolate.
Oh, is it got chocolate on the outside?
It's chocolate on the outside, but
and it's got yeah.
I'm going to watch Eddie and Ketia, man.
When?
Tonight, man.
You going to Leeds tonight?
Yeah, man. I'm going to Leeds when I leave here.
To watch Eddie?
Yeah, man. I got to go and watch Eddie. Got to support him, man.
Eddie who?
Eddie and Ketia.
And Ketia was Arsenal boy. He's gone along to Leeds United. That is incredible, bruv.
Like, Leeds are looking good as well. I really hope they get promoted.
You know something? I love Leeds. And
Same.
The thing is, people don't realise. The thing with Leeds, and I keep telling people, when back in the day, they were horrible people to play in front of. The fans themselves were the ones, they just stopped that. Honestly, for me, like of course Arsenal's my team, love Leeds because they stopped it. The fans got up as an individual man and said, stop saying that. They used to be terrible. You listen to people, you speak to any of the black players that played through that time, especially like 80s, 85 and all them time when I used to play for Palace against Leeds and all them. Leeds were terrible. They fixed up their self.
Seriously?
They stopped it.
So
man.
do you reckon? So you're saying obviously racism was high.
Oh, absolutely. It was ridiculous
in Leeds, but then they stopped it themselves.
The fans
they said
stopped
no more.
Fans stopped it. You should look up Leeds and how they stopped it. They were unbelievable the way they stopped it.
That's weird that you say, because it's funny that you say that, because it's so funny that you can talk about racism being an issue there, and then without going into too much detail about certain things like the Pogba situations that have sort of like crept up and kind of.
I mean, there was that. Obviously, I always felt. I mean, I grew up in like northwest London. Sterling School was right next to me, and I always felt. Me and Poet always felt Sterling was being negatively treated by the media.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was clear. It was like clear as day.
I said that on 5 Live. I said it. People went crazy. They go crazy.
It was insane. But it's just that it's nuanced, so you can't directly almost call it out because it's very like subtle little hints and jabs and what he's buying. It's clear. It's because of who he is and his profile.
But this is the problem that I have today, and I don't even know how to articulate it without sounding rude. But I don't want to be disrespectful. But it's like the Pogba situation's happened now, and it's like, well, we need to get rid of this, so let's just emphasize the fact that he's being racially abused for everyone to sort of calm it down. And it's like, I don't want racism to be a byproduct of a way of you getting out of a situation. Like racism in football to me is a very serious thing. I remember taking a book, I used to do youth work for 10 years. I remember taking some boys down out of London and hearing, oh, you're the best colour team we've played. And I remember saying to the guy, what other packets of Crayola have you got? What other colours is there? Because we started laughing because we're like, what do you mean coloured team? Yeah. This is ridiculous. So when I see the Pogba situation manifest, I'm just sitting here thinking,
what's the best way to do it? I mean, because now it's changed shape. It obviously still exists in society, but it's changed shape. It's almost like, how do you deal with it now when it's in that kind of way? Where you because you almost feel like, I see the Pogba thing and I'm like, well, but he's clearly a great player.
Yeah, but it's a pattern, Vuj. It's a pattern what's happening now. Okay. All of a sudden, because there's people who know that they can't be detected, this is why we've got to be calling out. Twitter got to do more. Twitter have got to do so much more to try and make it so as we can find out who has done that. They should be able to do that. You can't tell me they can't do that. We're talking about Cambridge Analytica, what the kind of things and data that them people are getting on people. You're going to tell me they've got 5,000 different kinds of data on each individual. 5,000. I didn't know I had 10. Right? So you're going to tell me that they can't pinpoint and find these people. I think that because at the moment there's almost like a fad. Oh, a black guy plays badly. Let's abuse him online because they can't find it. Is it Chelsea becoming like? Is it Tammy Abraham? Let's
that was horrible.
You know what I mean? So you got Tammy, then you got Pogba and stuff like that. It's like there's people who know that you can't find them. They can't be detected. So they'll do it because they can continuously keep one step ahead. Twitter not doing enough. They've got to do more.
Yeah, social media is a bit of a madness.
It is, man.
Been a bit crazy.
Social media is definitely something that
you've got to use it because it's a great platform. You know, they've got power to do it. They should do it. You know, they should do it, man. It's because it's all it does. It just makes people, and there's a young generation of people growing up, seeing people like Pogba and Sterling and Tammy Abraham and that. They're getting that. It's like my girls are confused if anything like that. They don't even. People say they don't see colour. Of course you see colour because you're a different colour to him and he's different. There's colour, but there's no. We're human race. Yeah. It's not colour. It doesn't matter.
That's the only race that's involved.
That's the thing.
I was saying something to Vuj today because it's funny that we're talking about Pogba, the problems he has in football, and I was saying I think people that watch football without being heavily invested in it to the degree that me, Vuj, and obviously someone like yourself is in, they look at football as Football Manager and FIFA. So if your stats are 87 shooting, every day, regardless if you had an argument with your missus, you had a problem outside of work.
You have 87
You
shooting.
have 87 shooting. So when you shoot, why is it not 87 shooting? And I find that concept so weird because I'm trying to imagine being Paul Pogba, World Cup winner, one of the most talented players on the planet by a country fucking mile. His ability to control, his ability to orchestrate a game. From Juventus days, I was like, this boy is absolutely incredible. Surely, if you're going to work every day and you're getting tweets upon tweets cussing you, you're getting your crowd on you, you're getting Gary Neville on you, how are you able to do your job efficiently? How can you have 87 shooting?
But how mentally strong do you have to be in football as well?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, that's the thing with them. Because I remember even my time, because I was volatile. You know what I mean? I was on the edge most of the time. With certain people, they know. They know how I was. And, I never went to the point where I was over the edge. You know what I mean? We saw with the Schmeichel. And
that was a mad thing.
That took me over, of course, that took me over the edge simply because, the things happened and man should have apologised.
Can you just give that some bit of context just because I'm a bit old, I'm really old. I remember that like it was yesterday and I remember grabbing my mum. I remember me and my mum sitting down. It's like 1996, Arsenal versus Manchester United. 96-97 season, I think we lost 2-1. Goals from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe Andy Cole and Dennis Bergkamp got it back to 2-1. So I remember that challenge. And I remember, and this is when I really hated the media. This is when I became very anti-media. Because the media created this agenda of Ian Wright versus Schmeichel, and he's never scored against in an Arsenal top again. Yeah. And I was like, you're creating this scenario, and even from a younger age, my dad said to me straight away, they're creating a scenario that makes it harder for Ian Wright to do his job. Why?
And then what happens is that they want to keep you in that kind of that bad guy. It was a tackle that shamed football. I remember. I saw a tackle. The tackle of what Dean Saunders done on Paul Elliott was. It jumped on his knee.
But we're not going to talk about.
And Cantona was bad.
You know what I mean? And, Cantona, jumped in a crowd. Yeah.
But he's French.
Can we?
But he's French. You know
what I mean? And this is why they look at black people and what black players have taken down the years. What do you think that no black player ever wanted to do what Eric Cantona done? But we've got a level of control, and because we had to, we can't. I don't know if a black player could kick a man in the crowd and still play football.
If Cantona was Balotelli,
you know something? It couldn't happen. You know what I mean? I don't know any. Can you imagine how Cyril, God rest his soul, when he saw and a French player Eric Cantona kicks playing, Cyril must have been saying, people like Cyril, Laurie Cunningham.
They could never have done that.
You see what happened with people like Suleiman Tari? Man's reporting racism on the pitch. They sent him off to blood.
Like
they sent the fucking guy off.
So then, like for example, without going into too much
laughing, I should have been laughing. No, but that's what I'm saying. People don't business. They don't business enough.
But I'm saying with you, I kind of, as much as it's mad, I remember I respected your whole approach to that game. Because my dad was sitting there and he was defending you, arguing with the commentators. They just couldn't hear him. Yeah. He was like, no. He said something to Ian. Then he goes, watch after the game. So I'm like, all right, then I'll watch. I remember the game finishes and you're still hysterical. And I think even that said, I like this guy. Something's happened. And he doesn't care about 38,000 people watching. He doesn't care about Arsene Wenger on the sideline. He clearly doesn't care about Sir Alex and Ferguson. And everyone was scared of Fergie. I was like, I fucking love this man.
It's real,
Something's
bro. At the end of the day,
and he's
real.
not having it.
That's why even like sometimes I'm at the ground and I don't think it's the best thing to say, but like I'm just like headbutt him. Because look, I think that's my Balkan.
Yes, that's the Balkan.
The Balkan in me. No, but like in my head, I'm like, look, it's already 2-1. You're down. You've got 5 minutes. Just headbutt him.
No,
just do it. And then you get that anger out, and you know what? Cool, a couple of media stories, and you're done. Fuck it, carries on.
With your life.
But that is maybe the more Balkan.
But the thing is,
how bad was the Schmeichel thing though? How bad was that Schmeichel thing? Just the scenario in terms of what you had to deal with afterwards, because the papers, every single paper.
Because they wanted because remember so all of a sudden they forget anything what has been said before, which is only the problem is I just wanted people to apologise. But the fact is, it turned into the tackle that shamed football. And,
I remember.
I remember like the Daily Mail and that had pages from the back page, 5-6 pages in, doing that, me on a couch and what's wrong with me mentally and all this sort of stuff.
Do you remember that? I remember that Ian Wright picture on the couch.
Honestly, on the couch, like I'm mad and stuff like that.
Bro, it was on the top. The paper broke into 2 parts. So there was top part right here, and it had Ian Wright on the couch. And I remember looking at it like what is going on? But then my dad said to me after that, they're going to have an agenda against Arsenal. And they did. I remember Patrick Vieira in 2000. Okay, he done some wrong things, but bro, literally every Arsenal player, Nicholas Anelka.
Yeah, but the problem they had with me, I think as a black player at Arsenal and black player at that level of the game is the for want of a better word, is the streetness. It was the realness of the fact that I wasn't conforming in respects of how I'm going to speak or how I'm going to try and
I have a question about this.
You know how I'm going to try and I'm going to be okay, this and that. I'd go in to see the FA and that. I said, what am I even doing here? I said to Mr. Fry, would always try to tell me to calm down. I said, what am I even doing here? And one time I said, I'm here with the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Where you from? Kent, where you from? This? You're going to try and say that what I've done there means that you can dish out this kind of punishment just like that, like you're the judge of the land. Do you know what I'm going through mentally on a daily basis? But he's a top-level black player playing for Arsenal, and with things what's going on, and you're just sitting there dishing out £17,000 fines, just like this. I used to say that to them, because when you're in there, the fact is they want you to come in there, and they try and do this intimidating thing. There's 3 of them sitting there. You come on the seat that's fucking smaller than their seat. And then you got Mr. Fry over there, you got my David Davis over there, and I'm sitting there. And then what I do is I sit forward on the seat. And so when they start talking, and then I just say that no, because it doesn't go like that. Man, they're not even expecting a man to talk back. So they start talking and they say, please, Mr. Wright, can you let us finish? I said, how can I let you finish? I shouldn't even be here. And then they talk and I said, okay, talk then. That's how I'm going, look, go on then, talk then. Then they talk and I said, right, you finished. Right, it's okay. How are you going to relate to what I'm going through on the football pitch? What level did you play at? They can't say anything. And Mr. Fry had to take me out of the room and just say, Ian, you have to calm down and this and that. I said, what difference does it make? They're not going to take any notice of what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how, this is what I'm like in there. Yeah. And then what happens is my mouth gets frothier and frothier because I'm getting more and more angry and I probably start crying. That's how it used to happen. And he'd take me out and I said, this is fucking unjust, man. This is wrong. They're not even trying to find out why I'm going through this process, what's happening, so as they can try and deal. Bro. So they can deal with why. How many times did you see me having to go up to the FA?
Bro, all the time. There was always pictures of you walking out of the FA. You look fly though.
Damn, man, honestly, you look fly.
He was dripping. He was dripping.
No publicity is bad, bro, when you're going in, man. But when I go in there, man, it was fucking hard.
That must have been fucking hard, man.
It's hard because you know when you're going somewhere and you know you're not going to be...
It's a different world, isn't it?
You should have seen one time. I went in there when I got spat at Oldham. And I was in there with Taylor. What's his name? Little PFA guy. Peter Taylor?
I don't know.
Oh, I know. I'm disinterested.
Anyway,
No.
So I had to go in with him. You could see me walk up. So I must have fouled Earl Barrett, right? Barrett.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So I fouled Earl Barrett. We're playing at Oldham and that. So the last minute, Perry Groves crosses one. I head it in. 1-1. Yes, they gutted and you know what I mean. So we're walking up this like to go back to the dressing rooms and you could see, because you could see it in slow motion, somebody go like that and spat at me and I went spat, and then the policeman grabbed me so I had to go to the policeman grabbed me. Dave Seaman had to get the police. Dave Seaman grabbed the policeman and to get him off me because the man grabbed me. Dave Seaman just grabbed him up, man, lifted him up, moved him and said, don't touch him like that. So anyway, I had to go up in front of the FA for that. Gordon Taylor, who's in there with me, because remember, it's a big thing about the spitting. Yeah. They're saying that I spat. You can see in the slow motion, the guy spit. Gordon Taylor's in there saying to them, yeah, we can't condone a professional player spitting and this and that. That was me gone. I said, what are you doing in there? Who are you in there for? I said that to him. Who are you in here for? I said, what are you talking about? Can you not see the spit? He says, it can't. You shouldn't spit back. Why is he spitting at me?
Mad thing.
I said, if that guy spat on me on the street, his mouth would not work for a while. I'm telling you, it would not work because I would batter him or I'd try to. I said, how can you sit there and say that a professional person can't spit at someone, but someone can spit at me? What's going to happen to him?
But that's the human element.
It was
Poet's speaking about
ridiculous.
They don't. People, I guess, they see you as a robot almost. You're like you're
shooting.
some sort of.
Yeah, but
you're 87 shooting.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, you say that, but the fact is that I couldn't comprehend that someone spat in my face and I can't do anything. And then I'm going to the FA and I get banned.
It's your fault.
And do you know what's so upsetting as well? Like, this is why I think I honestly think they should introduce counselling into football, because it's like you came in at 22, so your whole level of thinking at a professional level, you're so far behind everybody else because they've been there since they were like 16, 17. Do you know what I mean?
So
and
far
it's like
behind.
if you had additional counselling or help, which I feel like a lot of young players, especially from like different walks of life, they need it. Yeah. Especially foreign players when they come over and they don't know anything about England.
I had it right at the end. Okay, bro. I did right at the end with the counselling because the anger was building up, and I think because you're coming to the end in respect of your career. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't want that to happen. I couldn't stop that. You know what I mean? When you know that you're gonna have to retire soon, you're coming. That's why some man drink and some man drug, some man gamble. I was fine. You know what I mean? In the end, I saw somebody. You deal with it, but like every Saturday, 3 o'clock, whatever it is, right? What do you think? I don't want to play football. I want to play. Come on. You know what I mean? That never leaves you because the adrenaline that you get of scoring a goal will never be able to be replicated with any other experience. Nothing gives you that back. Really? Nothing gives you that back. So you're chasing that. That's what you're chasing all the time.
And it's important to also hear these stories from people like yourself. I feel like we're so quick to judge everyone, and especially on social media, and it's the day and age we live in, that we're so quick to judge someone's mistakes, someone's errors, and go, hey, he's all this, but they don't know the backstory. They don't know what someone's been through. We don't know. When people are always getting at Balotelli or Ibrahimovic or he's this, he's that, or
it'd be great if they're able to sit down.
If someone could sit down with these lads, I mean, they're welcome here. But do you know what I mean? It's like,
they're welcome here
to hear someone's backstory, I think you can empathize and go, this is a human.
Well, the thing is, you don't even want empathy. You don't want empathy. No. You just want them to understand that it's not like I'm not crazy. I'm not this, but the environment in which I've grown up in and how I was brought up has made me what I am. And I will react how I react because that's what it is. It's like people saying NWA. They shouldn't be writing about the things that they write about. They come out of their doorstep, they see police brutality.
It's the reality.
And what they're supposed to sing, what they're supposed to write about.
We love the police.
You know what I mean? You can't say we love the police.
It's understanding, definitely.
Listen, man,
thank you for joining me.
We'll have to do a part 2. I didn't even give you a chance to talk, man.
I was just happy to listen.
Yeah,
we had questions and everything.
No, man, it don't work like that. We can't put this one out, bro. You never had a chance.
No, then we put this one out and we can say right now to everyone, there's going to be a part 2.
Tell them there's going to be a part 2, man, where we can hear what you lot can actually get to talk as well.
Either way, it was beautiful to listen to.
Trust me, man.
Ian Wright in our ass, bro, man. We'll do another one, but
let's take a picture though.
Thank you for listening, watching.
Nice one,
like, comment, subscribe. Have a nice.
Watch out for the voodoo, man. Anybody badness, if you try badness on me, juju's gonna happen to you.
Let me get that.